Good morning.
Hey, Seattle.
As always, it's your girls, Jasmine and Shantae.
Welcome to another Thursday morning and another episode of The Way with Jazz and Tae.
We'll be bringing you lots of laughs and class to get you ready for the day and the weekend ahead.
Will it be the way or not the way? Find out and join the conversation.
Good morning. Happy Thursday. Welcome to another episode of The Way with Jazz and Tae. It's your girl, Jazz and
Shantae.
And hey, we're here and alive and well, and we've got a lot to cover today because the world was going up yesterday.
No, not the world.
Sorry.
America.
Just, our world, our soil.
Yeah, our world.
Let's be clear. Everybody else was watching and laughing.
Everybody
with
was
popcorn.
fine. Yeah. Embarrassing, you guys. Just overall embarrassing.
Oh, yeah. Before we get into all of that, let's get into our weekly recaps. What have we been doing? What have you been up to?
What the heck have I been up to? Well, let's see. Oh, we had New Year's that happened since the last time we talked.
Oh, was that real?
It's 2021.
I mean, well, it was really like New Year's Eve, the day
Right.
that
I feel like it was so long ago.
No, really, it does feel like it was already so long ago. But I got to see my mom for New Year's. She always makes food, and there's like all these traditions where you eat like, I don't know exactly what is for what, but like you eat greens and beans and things, and one's supposed to bring you money, one's supposed to bring you luck and all this stuff. So we stuffed our faces, got really fat and happy, and then we went and did a shoot this weekend with our friend Elise, who has an aesthetics company. And she was just showcasing all of the products and services that she offers. So she had a couple girls there that she had modeled those services. We ate good. There was crab and there was chicken and there was wine. So that was a great experience. It was a busy day, so it felt kind of like a normal day, which was nice. We got to go outside and everything.
Do you have your black eyed peas?
I did. I had my black eyed peas. I had my greens.
Yep. That's a Hoppin' John, I believe, is what the tradition is for the Southern.
Is that?
Yeah, for New Year's. If you have that,
Yeah.
then it's supposed to be prosperous.
Makes sense. Okay. Yep. See, exactly. So we did all of that. And then I started running this week and trying to work out again.
How you feeling?
I don't run. Let me just
We'll start there.
preface it by saying that I am not a runner. I grew up, I was very fit, but I danced. Dancing is a whole lot different than just like running. So our other roommate, Latia, she's getting up with me and we're running at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
We're doing 2 miles. We have this little like corner store that's in our neighborhood. We're running there and back, and it's been awesome. We've only done it like 2 days so far this week, but I've been doing some other workouts then, and my body is sore. Like my butt, my thighs, my abs, even. Like it's crazy how long these muscles have not been in use. But I feel really good, and I'm actually excited about like doing it. Like I'm already, not that I look forward to getting up crazy early in the morning to go and run, but I've felt really good after I've done it the last 2 days.
That good sore. Everyone knows that good sore.
Yeah, exactly. I do. I feel really great. So gotta hopefully keep that up. Health is wealth.
You can obviously ask our peer athlete, which is next to you.
I was going to say,
Shantae.
yeah.
She knows all about it. She's being kind of quiet right now.
Well, Shantae, we've talked about this. None of us are really runners, even though they were track stars.
I'm a runner.
You are?
I am like a person who gets up and I'll just go on runs
Okay.
if I feel like it. But I'm not a morning runner. I'm not a morning person. So they've lost me in this whole like, let's get up at 6 a.m. I'm like, my alarm goes off at 6 a.m. and I sleep until 7:30 when I have to be at work at 8.
I'm dead. My alarm goes off an hour and a half before I get up.
Like it's really, the 6 o'clock is like a thought. It's like if you feel good enough to get up, but I never do.
Understand.
I'm like, I'm going to snooze this about 7 times. But yeah, for me, my weekly recap, there's not really much else to add. I mean, a lot of the stuff that we do together. So I was also part of that shoot and was happy to see Elise, really achieve that accomplishment, because I feel like she's been talking about it since we first moved in together, like 3 years ago, about how she wanted to have her own place and her own studio, and she had been working to get her esthetician license and all of that. So that was really cool to see all of that come to fruition and all of her hard work paid off, and especially because a lot of that stuff that she's using is not inexpensive.
No,
So, she's been in her bag.
She's been building.
Get this stuff together. Outside of that, I went back to work this week, and it's been pretty chill because I actually worked the last 2 weeks while everyone else was like out of the office, and I got a lot done. So shouts out to that. And then my B-Day is next week.
It's your birthday. It's your birthday. It's your birthday.
Yes, and I'm getting so old, but I'm just glad
no,
that
you're not.
I'm turning 29.
Come on.
30 is the new 20.
Spring
It
chicken.
is, and I'm excited about it, but like the reality is that I am only getting older.
Understood. We all are.
I honestly can't wait until my 30th birthday because I have really big plans.
Are we
And
still
honestly,
going?
like this one, because it's in the middle of COVID and all of this, I'm like, okay, like can it be 2022 and we're past this?
You know what I love about that though? Like it's like the silver lining is that you have that to look forward to.
Absolutely.
Like it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
What are you doing this year for your birthday?
Nothing. But before we get into our icebreaker, please remember that you can also catch us now every Tuesday from 10 to 10:30 p.m. live for a weekly hot take on Rainier Avenue Radio. It's a spinoff of our Hot Topic segment, except this time we're looking for your advice or your input. And we're going to give our unsolicited advice about it.
Which we're really good at.
Our opinions.
We are super
unwarranted opinions, you know.
opinionated.
You didn't ask for it, but guess what? You're going to get it today. All right.
All right, you ready to jump into our icebreaker? I'm trying to like separate them.
High-tech production team over there.
I know, right? Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna memorize
So
all of
today
them.
we are going to play a new game that we got for Christmas from my mother called Black Card Revoked.
Ooh.
It was created by a sports and media executive named Letitia Williams, and essentially it's supposed to kind of, in a card game, I don't know, commemorate all the things Black people love. And if you don't get any of the answers right, then you get your Black Card revoked. It's not actually that cutthroat, and you don't actually lose your Black Card because there's like 85,000 different ways to play this game. There's either majority rules or there's correct answers. We're going to play correct answers, and it's going to be more trivia style today. We're going to play against each other.
And this is fun because it's all like Black culture. Like it's a game that's made for us, by us.
I also find it interesting because some of them I'm like, I don't recognize this
At
as
all.
Black culture.
Yeah.
This could be like, there's one about parallel parking, and I was like,
What?
there's any answer here. But we wanted to share it with you guys because we really enjoy it. So let's kick it off, Jazz.
Oh, you want me to go first? Yeah. Let's hope it's not one that I've already read. On a different world, what city was Whitley Gilbert? We've already done this one. On a different world, what city was... Okay.
Scratch. Take two.
Yeah. Okay, ready?
We played majority of these games. This
Oh,
already.
What
already,
does it mean if your ear keeps itching? A, you need to wash. B, someone is talking about you. C, you need to see a doctor. Or D, you're about to fall in love.
Somebody's talking about you.
B is the correct answer. Yes.
And that's just urban legend.
Right? Oh, was somebody talking about me? My ears have been itching.
So I got a point.
All right, ready?
What year was interracial marriage legalized in the U.S.? A, 1964. B, 1952. C, 1973. Or D, 1967.
Ew, it's sometime in the...
We just talked about all
I
of this.
know. Sometime in the 50s or 60s. Read them back to me one more time.
A, 1964. B, 1952. C, 1973. Or D, 1967.
I'm just going to say B.
You said B?
Yeah.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know. Damn.
It was D, 1967.
It was. I knew it was in the 60s.
Loving versus Virginia.
Yes. Ready? We've already done this one too.
That's fine. Choose another one.
In what city did Rosa Parks refuse to move to the back of the bus?
Atlanta. No, I'm joking. It's not Atlanta.
A. Tuskegee, Alabama. B. Montgomery, Alabama. C. Birmingham, Alabama. Or D. Jackson, Mississippi.
I was really hoping they wouldn't give 3 Alabama options.
See, this is how I felt with the last one because I knew it was sometime in the 60s, but they gave me 260 years.
Girl, we just talked about this literally like 3 days ago. We talked about when interracial
and I'm just going to
marriages.
remember.
I mean.
So is it A, Tuskegee, Alabama?
I'm saying Birmingham.
C, Birmingham, Alabama?
Birmingham.
B, Montgomery, Alabama.
I knew it was Alabama.
I did too, but I don't think I would have known off the top of my head if I hadn't.
3 Alabama choices?
That's why you knew it had to be one of them.
I just knew it was Alabama because
I'm trying to remember around what year was all that? Was that in the 50s or was that the 60s?
now that's the years I don't know. So okay, who played the character Hustle
55.
Man on the
55 is when it
sitcom
happened, by the way.
Martin?
I don't know.
55, by the way, is when it.
At all. I didn't watch Martin, so that alone should like revoke my black card.
Okay. Finish the phrase. He's a complicated man and no one understands him but his woman. A. Kanye West. B. Ray Rice. C. Chris Brown. Or D. John Shaft.
D. John Shaft.
Correct.
Yay! I was like, wait a minute. Whoever said this about Kanye?
I think you guessed that.
I am
I think you guessed that.
Weak.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, okay. Last time he checked, he was the man on these streets. A. Young Jeezy. B. Jay-Z. C. Lil Wayne. D. Drake.
All possibilities.
I know.
All.
I don't know. A.
Hey, Young
Wow.
Jeezy!
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I feel like that's definitely based off of some kind of lyrics that he has.
Last time I checked, that was the
Man
Man
on-
of these Streets.
What
But I
song
just
is
don't
that?
know what song that is.
Is that Soul Survivor?
Because
I
he
could be
also
wrong.
said that on the Gucci Mane Jeezy verses, because that's when he stood up in his chair and he was like, last time I
yeah.
checked, I was the man in these streets.
That might just be like one of his phrases.
Yeah. It was a hard moment on the verses because that's about when Gucci had started to show his behind, and I
He was
like,
ready to.
"Yikes.
Yeah, I was like, oh, palms were
Security.
sweating.
Security. Okay, so we're not gonna do this one because you don't know Martin.
I don't know Martin.
There's a lot of questions about Martin.
I know. Apparently, I need to catch up on my Martin, guys.
Netflix opportunity. Which historically black sorority was founded first? A. Delta Sigma Theta. B.
Okay.
Do you not want to do this?
No, we can do it. I'm gonna try my best.
B. Zeta Phi Beta. C. Alpha Kappa Alpha. D. Sigma Gamma Rho.
Is this sorority or fraternity?
Sorority.
Sorority.
Okay. Read them one more time.
A. Which was founded first? A.
Right.
Delta Sigma Theta.
Uh-huh.
B. Zeta Phi Beta.
Okay.
Alpha Kappa Alpha is C.
Which is the AKAs.
Yes.
Okay.
Sigma Gamma Rho.
Read the first two one more time.
De-
I'm just gonna say
Delta.
A Delta.
No. It was the AKA.
It was?
Yep.
Okay, but listening to Zeta Phi Beta, what was the name of the group in Stomp the Yard?
Thetas.
Oh.
No, Thetas. They were Thetas.
Okay,
Thetas. 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 We repping Thetas. You remember that?
we wrote the
Ooh.
and that's what I kept thinking every time I read it. I was like, isn't that fake? Isn't that a fake one? It's not.
So
Okay,
the original
so-
Alpha Kappa Alpha was 1908 at Howard University.
Oh, Howard! Shouts out to
When it was
Howard.
first formed.
Okay, we're gonna do one more, or are we done?
I feel like I won.
Okay,
we can do one more if you want to.
No. It's good because I was just gonna say takeaways from this are I need to brush up on my HBCU history, I guess, and I guess I need to watch Martin. Did you watch Martin? Are you a big Martin fan?
No, I wouldn't have known any of those answers.
Okay, cool.
I mean, I definitely.
So I was only getting the Martin ones.
But also, here's the thing: like for us, we would have been watching Martin as children.
Yeah. True.
And so, like, there's
Different
a lot
generation.
of stuff that we watched as children that it's like I didn't retain that, nor do I remember any of the themes, the people.
But I know a lot of people who watch Martin today the way that like I watch The Office, you know?
But they still watch it today.
True.
Like, you know, they're still
True
watching it as adults. Like, they're just repeating it so they know these. I'm like, the last time I watched Martin, I don't even remember how old I was.
I'm trying to think, what shows did we grow up watching? The shows that I can remember, like my family watching as a child, was like My Name is Earl and Malcolm in the Middle.
I'm weak.
And then I watched Medium with my mom. Like I was always watching like the crime shows with my mom. And then my stepdad and Kim, we were always watching those like, oh, and we would watch wrestling. Yep.
WWE.
We would, yep.
Weak.
Yep.
Yeah. I would say I watched a lot of like kid shows because of Amaya, but like,
yeah.
So like Proud Family, of course, everything on Disney,
Yeah.
of course.
Or Nickelodeon. That could have been big, right, for you?
Yeah.
I love Nickelodeon.
Definitely watch Nickelodeon a lot. SpongeBob, obviously, but like with my mom, my parents, like I remember watching Real World and like Road Rules.
Oh,
and all that
really?
stuff.
Oh.
Yeah. America's Next Top Model, of course.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, all that stuff. I was a reality television.
Oh, that reminds me. Last thing I was gonna say, as a family, something that we would all like watch together: American Idol.
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely.
American Idol every week. We would watch that, and we would just have such a blast as a family, like laughing mainly.
I feel like
We stopped watching after it got to just like
Yeah,
good people.
exactly.
Because
I
it wasn't
feel like there was a
fun.
point in time, like maybe after Carrie Underwood, where we just stopped watching that.
Yeah, because it
And
was.
they started changing judges too. And
Yeah.
it was like,
That's not Simon, Paula, and Randy.
I don't want it. It's a no for me, dog.
And on that note, we're gonna jump into a quick 2 to 3 minute break. Stay tuned. You guys are listening to The Way with Jazz and Tae. Hey, welcome back to The Way with Jazz and Tae. Before the break, we did a recap of our weeks and we played an icebreaker, Black Card Revoked. And I was the unlucky soul who got their Black Card revoked today. Now we're gonna go ahead and jump into our reviews of the week. We haven't done a review in the week in a while, I don't think really. At least not of like TV shows and movies, but over the holiday break, us and our other roommate Latia, we caught up on a lot of really good watches. And Shantae, you give your reviews first, and then I'll touch on mine, because I know that I will like have a hard time talking a lot, and I need to just condense it. So you go first. I don't want to ruin the movies either.
So a lot of people have been talking about and watching the show Bridgerton, which you can find on Netflix. It's a really cute romance show, created or written by Shonda Rhimes.
Oh, I didn't know that. It was a Shondaland.
Mhm.
Okay.
And it's set in like the 1800s, you know, the times of like dukes and duchesses and kings and queens and royals. And there's colorblind casting. A lot of people were actually really upset by the fact that there were like Black royals because it's not historically correct. But like, who cares? If you watch the whole show for what it is, the whole show is inaccurate.
Right.
There's a lot of like modern humor in it. There's a lot of like modern
They had light bulbs.
sensuality even in it. Yeah, they had light bulbs.
And I was like, wait a minute.
we had to go back. We were like,
When were light bulbs invented?
I don't think they'd have had light bulbs like this. Okay. Yeah, there was just a lot of modernness in this show. Even the women, they were very
outspoken and,
and
take charge,
thinking for themselves, and that's not historically accurate either.
But we'd love to see it.
One of the women actually married for love instead of marrying for, duty. And I thought that was really cool to see, which So the main characters, I'm just going to spoil a little bit. It's an interracial relationship. And I just was kind of like underwhelmed. Honestly, if we're going to sum up the whole thing, I was underwhelmed by the whole show. But I was underwhelmed by their relationship just because it just felt like typical, like, of course, that's what we did. But what I really liked is that they married for love and that they showed us a real love story with its trials and tribulations instead of showing us like what would have been historically correct back then, which is like, you know, a young woman marries this old man, hates him, he hates her, they treat each other poorly, and
but he's got all the money in the world.
Yeah, they're just unhappily married. I really appreciated the portrayal of real love and, you know, people around the same age being married and just seeing that, because I felt like it was a bit more positive. However, there was a lot of back and forth, and I really just wish that they would have maybe not have made them kind of like the sole focus of the show or like the main characters of the show, but really made it about the entire town and kind of submerged us more into other characters' storylines so that we could pick who we wanted to be invested in, because I'll be honest, because they were the focus, I was like uninvested by like episode 3, and there's 8 episodes.
Yeah, and you really like, okay, well, I want to know what's going on with this character over here, and like what do they have going on? And like they would touch on it, but they're not spending a lot of time
on it. Yeah, because we're spending an extreme amount of time on this love story that is tumultuous.
And it was just one of those things where you could see it coming. Like you knew exactly where it was going from beginning to end. And
but all in all, I definitely think it's a great watch and you should check it out. There's one full season, 8 episodes, like I said. Each episode's about an hour long, so it is a bit of a haul, but once you get into it, it'll be pretty easy to finish. Another thing that I'd really like to add is that I really enjoyed the score music or the background music.
I was just gonna say that.
Which is another way they tied in like a modern feel to the show. There were a lot of covers by like an orchestra. So they did songs like Thank You Next, and I feel like they might have done Chandelier. There were a few other songs that were like...
They did Bad Romance.
Bad Romance by Lady Gaga. So songs that we know and love, and then they made them kind of like classical, and they were all set in like ballroom. So like they were ballroom dancing to these songs. And I really like that because it gave it a very like, you know, new feeling. It was like just like a new way of doing it, which I thought was extremely original.
I loved all the outfits in the show. Like the fashion was great. The hair,
the fashion for me was all right. Everybody wore kind of like this same like shapeless dress, and I was like, I don't know, everybody looks 12, which maybe that was the point, because everybody would have been 12.
Supposed to be super young,
but I don't know. I have a hard time with the way that like sometimes in shows they depict women, because I'm like, I just want everybody to be of what like feels like a legal age, and I just felt like everybody felt like a child, and it just did not. And I hated the dresses that they put the main girl in, Daphne. She was always in like it
was like a baby doll dress.
It
was like the shape stopped right under the boobs, and it was just like cloth from that point on.
And
it looked like a nightgown. She looked like she was in a fancy nightgown every single time.
Every time.
Every time.
And she was supposed to be like, I mean, like, anyway.
To me, she wasn't very desirable.
Yeah.
She's supposed to be so pretty and gorgeous and blah,
and she
blah,
was.
blah.
I just think that they could have done more in the way of, like, really establishing that. Like, And then another movie that we watched was Soul, which you can watch on Disney Plus if you have it.
Yeah, Soul.
Soul was an extremely good movie. I don't know that I can summarize it without spoiling the whole movie, but it is a movie that really teaches you about, I wouldn't even say that it's about accepting death, but it's more about learning how to live your life. Before it's your time, which I thought was interesting. And I also really appreciate I just really appreciate Disney and the themes that they try to touch on. Because you don't know that you're going to be affected by something that they put out until you've watched it and you're crying. And I cried a little bit, and I'm not a crier.
Well, it seems like a lot of movies are like more about life, and there should be respect on death and seeing it from that side. Like, what was is it Coco?
Yes,
Remember
Coco.
that? It was very
Coco, that was another one that I was just going to
gosh.
bring up. That
Right.
was like, I didn't think it was going to affect me until I was bawling my
right.
eyes off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it tackled that area where it may be difficult for those to explain, like parents, to explain that to their children. And sometimes movies can express it a little bit easier or from a different view.
Yeah.
Which is kind of, definitely credible.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah. And so Soul was really great. Definitely teaching you to like live your life while you have the chance, because you really only get one chance to live it fully. And don't get so stuck on like, the work and the day-to-day, like really get out there and like live your life, like try everything, experience new things, experience new people, put yourself out there and be vulnerable.
Don't get caught in the rat race.
Don't get caught up in the stuff. And for me, it touched me because I am a workaholic, period. Like the one thing that I've always got going is work. Like that's it. And I actually like a few years ago had a doctor tell me like, you need to slow down. You're really young for how much you work and like how like much of a toll it takes on you. And I don't know, like it's just kind of like my personality. I don't really like I don't not enjoy work. Like it's just kind of like this is what you do for me. But watching Soul really made me like really like well up. I was like, oh my gosh. And it really touched me in a way I didn't expect it to.
Yeah, I was gonna say outside of that, because you covered everything that I would have said about it. The details. The details in the art and like the animation that they did was impeccable.
Yeah.
It was the way that they portrayed Black people and our culture and everything like that. Like there's a barbershop scene that,
oh my god,
was just so like nostalgic, like
the barber himself, like to a T, just the details that they took in like creating these people.
Yeah.
And they felt real, like that guy.
Yeah,
I know
exactly.
that barber.
They had like they had a picture of like the cuts on the walls, which we've all seen that picture, all the different kind of cuts you could leave with. And yeah, that was a good job, Disney, on that one.
I kept saying in the middle of it, I was like, this is a cartoon. I was like, do you see the details? It was crazy. So definitely check that out if you've not already. A must watch.
I'm going to go ahead and switch gears here and talk about my reviews. Much on a darker level than Soul and Bridgerton. The first one that I want to talk about is this movie called Honey Trap. And it's this movie that Latia, our other roommate, actually like put on, didn't tell us anything, just put it on and we started watching it, and heartache ensued. It's based off of a real story and a real life situation that happened over in the UK. So there's accents galore, which I also love. But it's basically about, like this troubled girl who is trying to like find herself. She's a teenager. She's forced to build a relationship with her mom after not knowing this woman essentially her whole life. And she just gets involved in some bad stuff, like she falls in love, as we all do.
That's when it starts.
Right. She fell in love with a boy who she had no business getting involved with. They have this beautiful fairy tale romance for all of like
5 seconds,
literally like a week or two, maybe. And then he discards of her. And so now she's on this mission of like, oh, I'm going to show you just how bad I am, So she's basically trying to like get his attention. She uses this other boy as like a rouse to like, she's basically starts dating this other guy who she knows has a thing for her, and she doesn't really care about him. She just knows that he'll pretty much do whatever she wants. And all in all, it works. The other boy whose attention she really wanted, she gets his attention back. But mind you, it's dangerous. He's abusive. He's very scary. He's very scary and like aggressive. But basically, all in all, he makes her do something that she does not want to do. And she's too scared to do anything about it. And life gets lost in the process. And it was really sad to watch the events unfold, because you understand her story. Like you see where she comes from. You see what she's going through and kind of what gets her to this place with these boys. And I think that's what's the most like heartbreaking about it is
like we were all rooting for you.
We really were, we were all, like you really wanted so much for her. And they're like what, 14, 15?
Were they?
They were young. No, I'm sorry. I think they were between the ages of like 15 and 16. No. Pause. Between like 15 and 17 when this happened. Okay. They were very young and they were juvenile. Yes. So sorry, guys. But anyways, it really like it broke my heart at the end because how they started the movie was the scene that ended the movie in which somebody ends up dying. And so what's going to happen the entire time. It's just a matter of how they build it up and get to it.
How do we get there?
Yeah. And I think that's kind of what made it such a good like film is because of how they kind of build it up backwards. And again, it's based off of a true story. Real people went to jail for this. Real people died. I definitely recommend it. But it was this particular like instance or like whatever happened here that they called this movie Honey Trap. And it's basically when you get your partner to set somebody up. Say maybe you try to lure them to a place or an environment to like, hey, I got to go meet up with somebody or somebody. Can you meet me here to do this or, whatever. You basically set them up and there's people waiting there with you while they arrive so that they can get jumped or whatever they're going to do to this person. And so that's what she did. Somebody died.
Isn't that a similar scene in the ATL movie?
What?
Remember where there was the setup with the kid?
Oh, and the robbery.
Yeah. Is that similar? Or
Dude.
Remember he got jumped? Like
I don't know what happened there.
It was supposed to be like the drug deal. He was waiting for, and then they jumped him to take.
Yes. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. No, really, seriously. But they didn't use a girl for that. They used money and drugs. Dangerous. Okay. Anyway, sorry.
I tangented on that one. Sorry.
No. But like it is, it is a setup situation.
The act in which, yes.
Yeah, it was a setup situation. But all of this to say that this happens about 10 years ago. And these people are now free on the streets, the real life people that were involved in this. So that's an interesting story and situation that if you don't want to watch the movie, at least look up the story because it was real. And also if you want to watch the movie, I recommend it, but have some tissues ready because I cried. I was upset about it all day.
Yeah, she just kept bringing that up.
It was like a few hours later, and I was like, "Man, they really killed him."
Shantae's like, "I'm working."
I'm like, "Hey, Shantae, you got a minute?" Yeah, what's up? They really killed that.
Really did. I can't.
And then lastly, I want to touch on really, really, really quickly is this movie called A Girl Like Grace, and similar situation in the sense of like a troubled girl. She lost her friend to suicide, and so she's dealing with that, grief and the loss of her best friend, and a parent who is essentially telling her to get over it and not really take time to cater to that. And it just shows her struggling with like, she's getting bullied in school, and she becomes, friends with an older person who's not necessarily showing her the right ropes, and she gets involved in situations that is way too much for someone of her age to really be in and understanding in a capacity kind of level. So it's similar to Honey Trap in the sense of, you've got the hardships of a teenage girl trying to figure her life out essentially on her own. But also, I think that this movie had more of a happy ending. You don't think so?
The scene before everything ended,
yes. Okay, pause. Yes, sorry.
I could have lived without a million lifetimes without that scene.
Oh, yeah. Trigger warning. This is not a movie for kids. There is a implied rape, and there's a rape scene and all that stuff. So definitely like beware going into that.
It was a lot.
There's
also a suicide scene.
And oh my God, it was like 13 Reasons Why.
Yeah, no girl, this whole movie was really hard to watch.
Yeah.
And then they just put a bow on it at the end.
Yes. So it was a whole movie of like heartbreak and disaster, bullying, sex and drugs and murder. Suicide, just kidding, no murder. And then at the very end, all of a sudden, everything was peachy keen and fine.
Yeah, like, oh, now she's on the right path and everything's great. And I'm like, I'm happy for her, but like, whoa.
Yeah.
What just happened before that?
Yeah, what just happened?
Yes, but it's got Ryan Destiny in it. For those of you who are familiar with that show, Star, she's one of the main actresses in that. She's a bit younger here. And then also Raven Simone is in this movie. Yeah. Which I thought I was like, is that Raven when I saw her pop up on the screen?
That's so Raven.
Yeah, right.
See what I did there?
But definitely, I definitely would recommend checking them out. Definitely more for like, I don't know, maybe educational purposes than anything. I wouldn't recommend watching this like with your kids or a family. It's not a family movie, you know. Just, yeah, if you want to be put on your feelings, Honey Trap and A Girl Like Grace are definitely the way to go.
Maybe you just watch the two back to back and
Yeah.
you let us know whose mom was worse, because that's essentially what we did.
We did. We talked about it. We were like, so who was the worst parent here? Because
Yeah.
one girl ended up getting charged with murder. The other girl, poor
She went
thing.
through a lot.
She did. She went through a lot that she didn't need to go through.
So those are
Those are our reviews of the week.
Shake that one off. Shake that one
yeah,
off.
let me shake that one off. That was our review of the week. Before we get into our hot topic and all of the madness that ensued last night, we're gonna jump into another break. Stay tuned. You're listening to The Way with Jazz and Tae.
Welcome back to The Way with Jazz and Tae. Thank you guys for tuning in. Before the break, we did our reviews of the week and things got a little heavy. Shantae reviewed Bridgerton, which is a series on Netflix. There's one season. She also reviewed Soul on Disney Plus, which is a great Pixar movie. Highly recommend everybody watch. 10 out of 10. And I reviewed Honey Trap, which is a movie, as well as A Girl Like Grace. And I also would recommend just for adults only. And again, tissues necessary, maybe some wine and snacks, because your emotions will be running wild. But now let's get into our hot topic, which is the haberdashery that unfolded at the capital of our country yesterday.
Like, what the heck happened yesterday? We had a completely different show ready for you guys, and then last night happened.
And then, yeah.
So as many people, or all
Straight
of us at
pandemonium.
this point,
I mean, like,
sheer pandemonium.
Oh
what
my
the
like,
heck?
it just went from like 0 to 1,000. And
Right?
it just was like for a really long time, just like, what is happening?
Uh-huh.
When are they going to get this under control? So as you guys may know by now, Trump supporters stormed the Capitol yesterday while Congress was set to confirm that President-elect Joe Biden won the election. Okay, that was me like extremely biased. They were basically just trying to certify the electoral votes and make sure that everything was fair.
That's it.
But
That's all they were trying to do, guys.
they were trying to do their jobs for once, you know, on time. The Senate had to actually evacuate the building. Staying away from doors. They were told to stay away from any exterior doors and windows because people were actually breaking glass trying to get into the Capitol. One woman was actually fatally shot, and 3 other people, we found out this morning, passed as well from medical emergencies at like
resulted from the
caused by the whole situation. On top of that, the mayor, I didn't put his name down.
The mayor of
DC extended a 15-day public emergency. So I don't actually know what that means.
Muriel Bowser.
Thank you.
Black woman at that. Amen, sister. Sorry.
Don't know what that actually means when there's declared a public emergency. Like, does that mean there's going to be a curfew for 2 weeks? Also, if you recognize the length of time, 15 days, that's until inauguration. That's the day after inauguration.
So that makes me feel better, because that was one of the concerns that we've had following up from this is what's inauguration day going to look like after this haberdashery
happened.
It's one of my favorite words today.
Yeah, that's twice you've used it in the last 5 minutes. I'm impressed.
Yeah.
I've never heard that word.
It's a great way to explain it, what happened yesterday. I like dumpster fire, you know.
That's a good one. That's a great one.
But yeah, so, you know, we got to watch all of this unfold live because the media is obviously there to record the proceedings with the Senate, and
it was hard for me to get work done yesterday.
I couldn't think about anything else. I was actually in a long meeting, and it popped off mid-meeting, and I just looked at Twitter on one of our breaks, and it was going on,
just
and I was
blowing
like,
up.
oh
just blowing
my
up.
gosh, what's happening?
Yeah.
And I'm not surprised, simply because this kind of started the night prior. There's supposed to be like a Save America parade that they were doing at 11 a.m. yesterday.
Big push for
it was the March for Trump parade.
Yeah.
I thought.
And that was it.
Okay.
Save America was,
No, it's the March for Trump parade. Come on, guys.
But so people started lining up even the day before yesterday for that, and stuff popped off then. So I kind of figured when stuff was popping off on Tuesday night for something that was supposed to be happening on Wednesday, I was like,
this isn't a good sign.
No.
Yeah, it's already,
And I feel like that largely is the whole point I want to make on all of this, is like, where was the security at?
Thank you.
Because
Thank you.
that just seems crazy to me, that you guys had people acting a fool the night prior to the event, and you already knew what the Senate was doing on Wednesday. And these people were going to be out here at 11 a.m. on the same day, and somehow they were understaffed.
And let's not even that, but the fact that Trump's people, his supporters, have literally let us know that this is what they've intended.
Yeah.
They've literally told us, and they've been talking about this for months now, that something like this was going to happen. But you guys weren't prepared?
But are mighty prepared when people want to peacefully protest
for
over
Black Lives Matter.
You know, we won't go there.
They literally had
to go there.
They had National Guard littering the stairs of the Capitol when we were protesting for Black Lives Matter.
Like, there wasn't even a protest set up, and they were like, enlist the National Guard, you know? And it was like, okay,
right,
but like, for what?
And then with yesterday's situation, the National Guard wasn't even called until
after the fact.
Hours after the fact, and Pence had to call them in because Trump wasn't.
He was like, I'm not convinced to call them yet. I'm like, dude, you're trash, first and foremost. On top of all of that, because we were watching this live, we got to see what these rioters, stormers,
were doing firsthand.
And there was just a lot of foolery. Those involved were taking selfies. They were taking pictures of and stealing federal documents. They were stealing miscellaneous items from the building, like podiums.
I saw a speaker getting passed around a crowd, like a speaker. What are you going to do with that?
Yeah. They were in Nancy Pelosi's office with their feet kicked up on the desk, like they ran the place. And it was all just really complete and utter circus. And I think that everyone involved, including the Senate, should be embarrassed.
It was really embarrassing to watch.
It was embarrassing to be a part of it, to know that this is our government.
Yeah.
These are our people.
Yeah.
I mean, like, they're not really my people. I wouldn't claim them, but like, we're all Americans at the end of the day, and we look crazy to the rest of the world. And you know, everyone is sitting here laughing. Trump is at this point just riling everyone up, and it's all based off of false claims. And now people have taken it to the utmost extreme and stormed a federal building in the middle of proceedings with elected officials, and some people were armed. People died. Okay, yes. I think that really at the end of it all, like, the fact that people died is what should be like highlighted, emphasized. Nobody should have died yesterday, and this should have never happened.
And I truly feel like Trump's behavior or outlook on things right now is like, obviously he was still trying to fight. He didn't want this. He wanted this to get turned over in his favor. Okay. Yes. So he's been trying to fight this whole time. However, I feel like he does have this attitude of just like, it's not going to be my problem any longer. So I don't really care what happens right now.
And not only that, but he's just completely delusional. He's like, when all of this happened, he's like, well, this is what happens when you steal an election from the good people of America. And they're just doing what, they should do, that they're being upstanding citizens, but go in peace and love. Dude, first of all, if you show up with weapons, there's no peace to be had. Love. Okay. Secondarily, you did this. And I don't understand. He's completely delusional, and it's like he's just lying, and there's nothing to back his lies. Yeah. But people are just like blindly following it.
Yes.
And that's what's the scariest part to me, is that you're not even like taking a beat, or
he's not taking any responsibility for it.
None of it.
He's not.
None of it.
One of the other things that I saw this morning was that they've only made 52 arrests total.
You guys.
There was over 14,000 people there. And we know there was hundreds of people running through the Capitol. Thousands of people running through the Capitol.
Thousands.
And we've only made 52 arrests.
Least not forget, in the middle of a pandemic.
Do we also not want to talk about how many people were arrested during the protests for George Floyd and Breonna Taylor?
Right.
Because there's been 14,000 plus arrests made in those protests. But y'all could only find 52?
52 people. I think everybody should be arrested. I think everybody should lose their jobs. I think everybody should, I don't know.
That reminds me. There was actually somebody there in the crowd who was a recently elected representative for, I believe, West Virginia, who was stupid enough to tell on himself and say, we did it, we made it, we're in the Capitol, said his first name and his last name and said, I did it, I made it, I'm in the Capitol, while flashing the camera to his face multiple times. So, sir, I would just like to say to you right now, you about to lose your job.
You about to lose your job.
You about to lose your job. Yeah.
Okay.
Because, sir, that was just dumb.
You know what?
You are dumb.
He wanted to lose his job. It just really makes me mad. The double standard and the hypocrisy of it all.
Really, we have to sign off here, but I want you to bring up this. Oh, my bad. Read this right here about Kaepernick. You want me to do it?
Can I finish?
My bad.
You just stormed her building.
I saw the time and I was like, we gotta wrap up.
All of that. I wanted to just say, like, I'm extremely upset with the double standard and the hypocrisy of all of this. If you don't believe that there is systemic racism and just white privilege, this was a testament to it, because we all know what the difference would have been. And to read this quote, this is actually, I put down a few of my favorite tweets from yesterday. Yashar Ali, and his Twitter name is @Yashar, said, a reminder that the people who breached security today at the Capitol find what Colin Kaepernick did to be offensive.
Thank you.
Colin Kaepernick took a knee.
That's all he did.
To protest the killing of Black people by police.
Thank you.
And everyone made sure that he lost his job.
Thank you.
These people stormed a federal building in the middle of a proceeding where they were trying to confirm our next president. Everyone needs to go to jail.
And you want to talk about how you're disrespecting America by taking a knee and how unpatriotic that is, blah, blah, blah. Right. Why were they storming the Capitol, taking down American flags and replacing them with Trump flags, and talking about respecting America
with Confederate flags?
Right?
You guys are trying to, it's crazy. The argument is that, this isn't a fair democracy. The election was stolen. What you did yesterday was insanity. Okay.
Purely.
Like, you cannot actually believe in democracy and think that you're going to storm the Capitol and somehow steal the election from Biden and somehow give it to Trump. Like, what was the end game yesterday? Everyone involved.
That is a very good question. What was the goal there? It's a revolution.
To show that they could do it, like, I don't know, but it was a mess and a half, and I'm just like really upset to be a part of it, honestly.
Oh my gosh. No,
another embarrassment for our country, right?
Yeah. It really is. Completely. No, it really is. And honestly, what I would love to take now moving forward is, like, anytime people want to argue and say, what is white privilege, or it doesn't exist, it isn't real, this is literally going to be my favorite example to use
every time,
because everybody knows now. Everybody knows about all the BLM protests.
We watched it.
Everybody knows about what happened here. So anybody with any kind of brain or conscience will know the situation, and the comparison is night and day different. So don't tell me that they do not have privilege.
Absolutely. I mean, they showed up with their faces uncovered,
right?
But now that we've gotten into it, let's do a really, really, really quick wrap up. Weekly recaps was the way.
Definitely the way.
playing a new game, Black Card Revoked. You guys should definitely buy it, check it out. It's a lot of fun.
I'm gonna say it's not the way, just because I don't feel like I'm black enough to play it.
You're just sore you lost. You're sore.
I'm gonna say the way. It's a fun new game. And the thing about it, what I told our other roommate is that we don't know these things now, but by playing the game, we will learn them. So we will gain our black card back.
Exactly. Like interracial marriage was legalized in 1967.
And now you remember.
Loving versus.
But I was Virginia. I was hoping you would just remember it from the last
I know, time. I'm sorry.
Review of the week. Soul and Bridgerton are the way, definitely.
Honey Trap and A Girl Like Grace. Depending on who you are, it could be the way, it could be not the way. For me, it was the way.
And then What Happened Yesterday?
Not the way. Never.
It's never gonna be the way.
Never the way.
That was so trash. And anybody who thinks that it wasn't, you should really
try it again. Actually, you know what? Go ahead. Try it again. If you think it was the way, try it again. Tell me how that goes for you. I'll enjoy myself reading your obituary.
I don't know. I just people are crazy. But anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll catch you guys next week.
Bye.
As always, thank you so much for tuning into The Way. Catch you next week. Same time, same place. Follow us on Instagram at The Way Jazz and Tae and on Twitter at The Way JT. Don't be afraid to DM us if you have any questions or suggestions about the show. Until next time, bye.
Peace.